So when we described the definition and the meaning behind that earlier, we took a look at how it becomes something that you are not happy or content or satisfied with until you get the next hit, so to speak. That next hit will disrupt you from your work, from your school, from your responsibilities, from your families, etc., etc. That's when it becomes a problem. Anything that impacts your mental health in terms of it preventing and disrupting your daily life, that is when it becomes an issue. Just like when we talk about sadness or people feeling anxious. We all have these. I'm sure you were a little bit stressed or anxious when we were beginning the program and you started like, where is she? Why isn't she not on? I was actually getting the recording that you requested for me. I'm like, why did he ask me last minute? I got a little bit stressed, you know? But this is normal life stress. You're supposed to feel stress. Adi, as we say in Arabic. It's normal, right? It's how you cope and deal with it. It becomes an issue when you are consistently anxious and stressed and worried or depressed, let's say, for a certain amount of time. There's no specific number, but let's say a minimum of 2 weeks, where it becomes disrupting your hygiene, your eating, your sleeping, your interactions with people, your focus, your attention. So when we talk about mental health challenges, this is when it becomes a problem where we need to go seek help. So same thing when it comes to addictions. When you notice that it is preventing you from reaching your full functioning ability, because you are focused, and you remember how we described it in the prefrontal cortex, because this is the executive functioning of our brains. When this is impacted, people around you are going to notice. And we also mentioned earlier that the person themselves are probably not going to notice it because they are focusing on that hit. They need one more Turkish show drama before they can go to bed. The next thing you know, they're up till 5. I'm guilty of that, I have to say. During my time off work, I'm very guilty of doing that. But then that's my time off, and I know in my mind this is where I'm going to do that, but not definitely on a work day or a school day, right? So that doesn't disrupt my daily function, for example. But the person, when it becomes an issue, is that you notice it with a child, like we mentioned earlier. You take the phone away. Look at how يقلبون الدنيا, as we say in Iraqi. Look how they turn the world upside down. You know that's a problem like that. Now, I'll give an example where, because I'm very cognizant of this and very aware of this, with my daughter, I refuse for her to have an iPad or an old phone or an iPod. I absolutely refuse. Absolutely refuse. She can only use my iPad, Mama's iPad, when she needs to memorize Quran, or when she wants to look at a craft video, or when we want to look at silly cat videos for a little bit. That's it. I refuse for her to have this. And it's because of, and we'll get into the next question, I don't want to jump too much into it, but because I'm very cognizant. When I saw her at 1 year old go swipe the phone to go look at Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, I was not happy with that at all. It was actually quite scary. So I recommend for parents to watch their youth. Now, a lot of us, and we're probably, a lot of us have been guilty of doing this, is when we have a crying toddler or a child, the only way to quiet them down at the masjid or at home, or for us to get 2 minutes of peace, is here, take this and go, right? But this is the equivalent, in my perspective, and what I've seen with other experts, and we'll get into it later, is that this is you throwing cocaine to your kid and say, go, enjoy it for a few minutes. When we described it earlier with the dopamine release, that's what you're doing. When you think about it that way, I guarantee you're not going to give that electronic gadget to your child, right? So when we lose track of what we're doing in life just to get that hit, that is the problem. That's when we know we've become obsessed and we would do anything just to get more of that dopamine release. That's when it becomes an addiction to impact our mental health, our interactions, and our daily functionings.